Welcome back to RS Insider. My name is Tanner. Today we're going to be talking about the Porsche Taycan. We're going to be talking about everything from the rear-wheel drive through the Turbo S, what you need to know about the different models, as well as the must-have options if you're going to be picking up a Taycan in 2021. First off, I want to talk about the Taycan as a whole. Our tester here is the Taycan 4S. It does have the Battery Plus package, so you do get, instead of the 199 miles of range, you get 227. Instead of 522 peak horsepower in this, you go up to 562 with the upgraded 93 kilowatt battery. However, with the Taycan, there's anything from a rear-wheel drive through a Turbo S. I'll put a screenshot up of the different power numbers so you can see the power and range of both models and just kind of compare them. The next thing I want to talk about with the Porsche Taycan is the exterior styling. I really like the Sportback style design. I like that it does have frameless doors. However, the only disappointment with this is the fact that it has a traditional trunk instead of a hatchback. I think that's a missed point from Porsche, just because having the bigger hatchback design really enables putting larger objects into the car. It does have a front trunk up front, which is nice that you can have an extra piece of luggage up there if you need to, but it's always just nice to have the hatch. Other stuff on the exterior styling that I like is the hood. It does have a lot of inspiration from the Porsche 918 hypercar. I think that's really cool that a manufacturer has taken a lot of the cues and inspirations from their hypercar and put it into a four-door sedan. I think that shows that the Taycan is here to stay and that they really believe in the model, and they're throwing everything that they've got at it to take a stab at the Tesla Model S. Next thing I want to talk about with the Porsche Taycan is the interior rear legroom and headroom. The car is adjusted as if I was sitting up front. I'm 5'9", have about 3 inches of legroom in front of me, about 3 inches of headroom above me. There are some vents back here as well as heated seats on both sides. There is a cup holder here in the center, and there are some USBs, which I've never seen any manufacturer do this before, but the USBs are facing under the seat. So unless you were sitting in the driver's seat looking back, you probably would never know that there are USBs right here. Kind of an interesting point. I've never seen anyone else do that, but it does make it look like a little bit cleaner back here. The next thing I want to talk about is the cockpit feel of the Porsche Taycan. This is the first car that they've had a full digital cluster. I really like this because we're moving on from the more traditional analog gauge, which hones back to a lot of Porsche heritage stuff, which I understand for something like a 911 or a Cayman or a Macan or something like that. But on this car, it just feels fitting. I like that I have 3 individual gauges that I can customize to be whatever I want. If I want it to be a big navigation, great. If I want to see the speed limit or if I want to see my music, I can kind of customize these different things to really work for what I want it to be. In the steering wheel, on my particular tester here, I have the drive mode selector, so I can adjust which mode I'm in right on the fly just from the steering wheel. From the interior though, I've got a lower touchscreen that does have climate control and some easy access menu buttons. I do have the larger center touchscreen up here, which is where you're going to be displaying Apple CarPlay, your navigation, media, general stuff like that. Our particular tester does have the passenger display. It is an option. I think it's worth looking at. It's really cool. It shows you that you have navigation over there as well as music control, and then you also can click a button that does show you the cockpit view. That's what Porsche refers to it as, and it shows your miles per hour as well as what mode you're in. So if you've got someone in the passenger seat looking at how fast you're going, it might be a little bit of a bummer, but it is cool to see. Next thing I want to talk about with the Taycan is the different models. There's a rear-wheel drive variant, there's the 4S, the Turbo, and the Turbo S. I have driven 2. I've driven the Turbo and the 4S. And for me in particular, I actually like the 4S the most. I think you get the most bang for your buck for what it is. The car gives you all-wheel drive. You can choose to, if you want to upgrade to the larger battery, moving the power from 522 horsepower to 562. And overall, you can add a lot of the classic Porsche customizations to really spec the car out if you want. This one is spec'd up to $138,000 with a lot of the bells and whistles. But overall, yeah, personally, I would choose the 4S. Well, everybody, we're going to talk about the inside of the car now. Just a couple things to go over. I think this is kind of the meat of the video, just because this is what you want to know about. From a general ride feel, the car is super soft. Right now, I'm in normal mode. And then as soon as I put it into Sport or Sport Plus, you start to feel the suspension firm up, the steering tighten, as well as that electric Porsche Taycan sound kick in, which I do think makes you feel really cool. It's kind of weird, like it's weird because you know it's no engine sound, but just a kind of electric sound. But have Enrique with me. We're going to talk a little bit about what he thinks, especially from the passenger view, especially since this one has the passenger display. Want to get his thoughts. And this is also Enrique's first time in a Taycan, and I want to feel what he thinks of a launch.
Yeah, this is my first time in a Taycan. I really like the interior. The passenger display, at first I was a little confused about why people would need it. It just seemed a little excessive. But honestly, I think it's actually pretty useful because the passenger can have the navigation displayed while the driver has his information displayed on his interface, like his media, and I can just focus on giving him information. Or if I just want to have the speedometer on here so I can know what's going on, it's pretty useful. So I think it's a neat little feature.
All right, Enrique is going to experience his first launch in the Taycan 4S. Let's see what he thinks. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's insane. That was awesome. Holy cow. Yeah, we hit 60 pretty fast. That was good.
I think a lot of auto manufacturers have been a little bit nervous, especially if their heritage lies so much in racing and, you know, sport car driving, to make electric cars. And so it's awesome that Porsche, you know, one of the classic manufacturers that we think of when we think of, you know, classic race car history, as well as, you know, the 911. I mean, you think of GT 911s anytime you think of Porsches. But I think that although I'm driving something so unique like this electric Taycan, it definitely feels like I'm driving a Porsche. I feel like I have, you know, the touches of the sport chrono gauge. That is an option, of course, but I also love, you know, still having the classic crest. Some manufacturers will change their logos depending on if it's an electric car or not, and I like that Porsche put the traditional crest in and throughout the car, just because it is a Porsche, and it doesn't feel like it's an electric car made to be a Porsche. It feels like a Porsche that just so happens to be an electric car. Thank you so much for checking out the video. We really appreciate you watching our content. We are going to be posting more content with the Taycan 4S, so please let us know if there's anything else you'd like to see. But please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and let us know down below what you think of the Porsche Taycan.